The little boy suddenly came up to his mother and handed her a piece of paper when she was busy in preparing dinner. After his mom dried her hands on an apron, she read it. For cutting the grass, $5. For cleaning up my room this week, $1. For going to the store for you, 50 cents. Babysitting my kid brother, 25 cents. Taking out the garbage, $1. For getting a good report card, $5. For cleaning up and raking the yard, $2. Total owed, $14.75. After reading, his mother looked at him standing there. Expectantly, she picked up the pen, turned the paper over and wrote, 9 months I carried you while you were inside me. No charge. The times I've sat with you, doctored and prayed for you. No charge. For all the tears that you've caused through the years. No charge. For all the nights that I couldn't sleep because of the worry I knew were ahead. No charge. For all the toys, food, clothes that I gave to you through the years. There's no charge, son. And when you add it all up, the full cost of real love is no charge. When the boy finished reading what his mother had written, he looked straight at his mother and said, Mom, I sure do love you. And then he took the pen and in great big letters he wrote, Paid in full. A parent's love is invaluable and can't be measured with money. It shows that parents do a lot for their children out of love. And children should appreciate and love their parents in return. Love and care are more important than any chores or tasks. There was once a poor boy who spent his days going door to door selling newspapers to pay for school. One day, as he was walking his route, he started feeling low and weak. The poor boy was starving, so he decided to ask for food when he came next door. The poor boy asked for food but was denied every time, until he reached the door of a girl. He asked for a glass of water. Seeing his poor state, the girl came back with a glass of milk. The boy asked how much he owed her for the milk, but she refused payment. Years later, the girl, who was a grown woman, fell sick. She went from doctor to doctor, but no one was able to cure her. Finally, she went to the best doctor in town. The doctor spent months treating her until she was finally cured. Despite her happiness, she was afraid she couldn't afford to pay the bill. But when the hospital handed her the bill, it read, Paid in full with a glass of milk. Moral of the story: good deeds never go in vain. They return to you in the most unexpected ways when you need them most. Once upon a time in an old village, there was a smart man who owned a well, but he didn't use it, so he decided to sell it to a nearby farmer. One day when he passed by and saw the farmer pumping water from the well for cooking, the smart man immediately stopped him and did not allow him to pump water from the well. I only sold you the well. I didn't sell you the water. Therefore, you cannot take water from this well. The smart man spoke up. The farmer was very sad and didn't know what to do. He had bought the well, but he hadn't paid for the water from the well. Now the well was full of water, but he couldn't use it while his whole family and livestock all needed clean water from this well. After thinking for a long time about how to resolve the issue with the smart man, the farmer decided to bring it up to the district court, hoping to get justice. At the court, the farmer recounted the story from beginning to end, hiding nothing in order to get justice for his family. The district judge called the smart man up and asked, "Why don't you let him use the water in the well? Didn't you sell the well?" "Well, Your Honor, I only sold the well to this farmer. I didn't sell him the water in it. Therefore, he has no right to take water from my property. Now, if he wants to take water, he has to pay more to buy the water." The smart man replied, firmly believing in his argument. The district judge looked at the smart man, smiled slightly, and replied, "Oh, you make a good point. However, when you sold the well to this farmer, the well became his property and the water in the well is still your property. So, you have no right to store water in the farmer's well anymore. Now there are only two options. One is that you have to pay the farmer to rent the well for water storage. Two is that you have to remove all the water from the well immediately." The judge looked up at the smart man and asserted firmly. The smart man bowed his head sadly, not knowing what to do to justify his actions. He had been harmed by his own intelligence. That's why in life, just because someone is intelligent, it doesn't give them the right to take unfair advantage of others. In the end, fairness, justice, and empathy prevail. And even the most intelligent can be humbled by their own actions.
A young woman was sitting at her dining table, worried about taxes to be paid, housework to be done, and to top it all, her extended family was coming over for festival lunch the next day. She was not feeling very thankful at that time. As she turned her gaze sideways, she noticed her young daughter scribbling furiously into her notebook. "My teacher asked us to write a paragraph on negative Thanksgiving for homework today," said the daughter. "She asked us to write down things that we are thankful for, things that make us feel not so good in the beginning, but turn out to be good after all." With curiosity, the mother peeked into the book. This is what her daughter wrote. "I'm thankful for final exams because that means school is almost over. I'm thankful for bad-tasting medicine because it helps me feel better. I'm thankful for waking up to alarm clocks because it means I'm still alive." It then dawned on the mother that she had a lot of things to be thankful for. She thought again. She had to pay taxes, but that meant she was fortunate to be employed. She had housework to do, but that meant she had a shelter to live in. She had to cook for her many family members for lunch, but that meant she had a family with whom she could celebrate. The moral lesson of the story is to remind us to focus on the positive aspects of our lives and be thankful for the things we often take for granted. We look at the better part of life today and make our every day a great day. James, a college student, had admired a lovely sports car in one dealer's showroom for a long time. He knew that his parents could afford it and told them that this car is all that he wanted as a gift in a day of his graduation. Graduation day came and father had called James into his private office. He told him, "I am very proud to have such a good son like you." He told him how much he loved him and handed him a lovely wrapped gift. James felt disappointment, but he was curious to know what it was. So he opened the box and saw a leather-bound Bible. "You are so wealthy and all you can give me is a Bible." James shouted at his father with anger and left the house. Time passed, and James became a successful businessman. He was happily married and had 2 children. Their family lived in a beautiful house. However, his soul still hurt due to broken relationships with his father. James did not see him since his graduation day. One day he received a note, which told that his father passed away. According to the testament, he had inherited all of the possessions of his father. When James arrived at his father's house and began to look for some important paper, and accidentally he found the Bible, still gift-wrapped, and sadness had filled his heart, with tears in his eyes. He opened the Bible and read a verse that was underlined by his father. "And if ye, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your heavenly Father give to those who ask him?" Suddenly a car key had dropped from the back of the Bible. He knew that it was keys to the same car that he desired at that time. James also found a tag with the date of his graduation on it and the words, "Paid in full." The story emphasizes the importance of patience, humility, and forgiveness. James, driven by his immediate desires and expectations, failed to appreciate his father's gesture and misunderstood its significance. It's a reminder to value relationships and not let misunderstandings or material desires overshadow the love and care that exists between family members. "Do you know how hunters of old used to trap monkeys?" a man asked his child. Rather than chasing them up a tree or shooting arrows from below, they'd put a heavy glass jar with a narrow neck on the floor, which had the monkey's favorite food inside. They'd then step back and hide, waiting for the unsuspecting animal to approach. When it did, the monkey would reach inside, clench a fist around the food, and try to pull it out. However, the narrow neck of the jar would stop the poor monkey from getting its hand out. It'd pull and pull, but to no avail. There was simply no way to get its hand out of the jar without releasing the food. Rather than letting go, though the monkey would persevere, refusing to drop its dinner, the hunters would then approach and catch it to enjoy a meal of their own. "Don't be like that monkey," warned the man. "In life, to fight another day and grow as person, you must know when to quit, when to move on, and when to let go of whatever's holding you back." The moral of the story is, sometimes you have to let go and give up what you have now in order to receive something better in the future. Don't let stubbornness be your downfall. At the beginning of a new school year, a class teacher stands up in front of her students holding a $100 bill. She tells them, "Put your hands up if you want this money." Every hand in the room goes up, to which the teacher says, "I am going to give this money to someone here, but first, let me do this." She takes the bill and crumples it up in her hands, before asking, "Who still wants it?" The hands stay up. The teacher then drops the bill on the floor, stomps and grinds it into the ground, and picks it back up. "How about now?" she asks again. The hands stay up. "Class, I hope you see the lesson here. It didn't matter what I did to this money. You still wanted it because its value stayed the same. Even with its creases and dirtiness, it's still worth $100, she continues. It's the same with us. There will be similar times in your life when you're dropped, bruised, and muddied. Yet no matter what happens, you never lose your value. The moral of the story is, life's hardships are inevitable and will all be put through the ringer at some point, often through no fault of our own. Don't let these challenges alter your feelings of self-worth. You'll always be enough. You have something unique and special to give and offer the world. If you find value in this content, please like, share, and follow.